And welcome to the Flu is Not Going Away edition of Let's Talk Nutrition. Great to be with you. I was just reading a story. The flu season is far from over. Apparently, the CDC is all in a wrench about it. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hope everything's going okay and the way you planned it. I can just see somebody saying, "What's he talking about?" Yeah, the best laid plans of mice and men, as we're familiar with the phrase or the saying. Yeah, here we are in the middle of winter, and apparently the flu season is far from over. I know several people now that have been taken ill with the flu, and it's not pleasant. Some places it's really out of hand. It's out of control. Dr. Sally Bird's in studio today. That's good. Gary's here. There she is. Hello to your mama.
Morning, Mom.
Does she know you're on TV?
Yeah, she actually listens sometimes now.
She can watch.
Yeah, she can watch and listen.
Are you good at math?
I'm average. I'm good at practical math, like accounting and simple things, not the abstract.
So math generally doesn't give you a problem?
No.
Well, I was just going to say, I know you're a naturalist, and if you're having trouble adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, you should consult with the bees. Scientists now saying that bees can do basic math. I'll tell you about that. Can't make that up. And there's any other number of stories trending and floating around in the ether. We'll snatch them, just grab them out of the air and report them to you. There's so much to report, so much going on all the time. I can't keep up. You have to really stay after it. But we're all connected. Gary made sure I had a good headset today. He gave me his. He's repairing mine. Good thing he's around, He fixes stuff. He gets stuff done and fixes things. I'm digging that.
I can fix everything except a broken heart.
My mom could do that. As a matter of funny you say that, Gary. When I wrote my mom's eulogy, and it was entitled "Finding a Way," and she was an Italian immigrant, no education, maybe grade school. But she was really smart, and she could do things. And so in the eulogy, I talked about how she came to this country as an immigrant, and I talked about how she would always find a way. And I said, I remember one part of the eulogy, I said, if you had a garment that you couldn't fix, you couldn't mend it, take it to my mom, she would find a way, she would mend it. And if you had a broken heart, you go to my mom and she would find a way to mend it. And she did. So it's interesting that you say that. She had to mend mine several times.
It's a beautiful gift.
It is a beautiful gift. I think about I wonder what's the matter with me. I think about my mother every single day. There's not a day goes by since she passed. Not one. I'm serious. Not one. And not just a moment. I think about her a lot. What do you think is up with that? You're good at this kind of thing.
Maybe you're grateful. You're happy that she's in a place where she's enjoying herself.
I don't know. I miss her. That's the problem.
And you miss her.
That's it.
I'll say that you talk about your mom often, and she obviously is very endearing to your heart. She's the one guest that we never had on the show that I wish we would have had at some point.
Thank you, Stephen.
Wow.
You're right, man. And I called her every single day after the show. I'd get in my car and I'd head on back home or my office or whatever. And I say, "What do you think?" She would give me the rundown on the show. She would evaluate the guests. She would talk. She was amazing. And she was spot on, man. She listened every single day. She was my She was my sounding board. What do you think about this? I just can't tell you. Every single day. I thought about that yesterday. I was thinking about my mother. I'm thinking about my mother.
He was your coach.
I guess maybe there are other people out there that do that too. Every single day. Yeah. Here's how to connect. I'm sure my mother's in the studio somewhere.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK. Dr. Garko's personal email is drgarko@letstalknutrition.com. Follow us, like us, and share us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition, on the Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition, and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we have over 60,000 views now at Let's Talk Nutrition, where everything is archived by date and closed caption for the hearing impaired.
According to the CDC, the flu is widespread. It's in 47 states. 24 are experiencing extraordinary levels of the disease. Further, hospitalizations have increased and are increasing. Quote, flu activity has continued to increase this week, said Dr. Lynette Brammer, the lead of the CDC's domestic influenza surveillance team. Can you imagine, Dr. Brammer is out and, cocktail party. And what do you do for a living? I head up the CDC's domestic influenza surveillance team. Okay. Wow. The most common type of flu around is influenza A. That particular strain, H1N1. H1N1, you've heard that call sign before. It may be a warning, Dr. Brammer said, as the level of influenza A H3N2 has simultaneously increased. We're mid-February. Flu season is expected to continue for several more weeks, probably into March, they're saying. Dr. Brammer said, quote, there's still a lot more flu season to come. I expect activity to continue for several more weeks. That's why in the article, she was urging anyone who has not yet been vaccinated to get a flu shot. That's like showing a crucifix to Dr. Bird.
Yes, it is.
If she were Dracula, you know what I'm saying? She would shy away. No, she doesn't like flu shots. She and I disagree on this, but that's okay. And
I like the fact that not all our guests agree with you. And there's a lot of people that do, Doc. That everybody has entitled to their opinion on this show, and it's great.
Yeah, I don't edit anybody except you. No.
Yeah. Throw change at me.
I don't edit you, man. I'm easy to work with.
Yes,
I float.
It'd be a boring show if everybody agreed, though.
You're 100%. 100%. Glass of milk is fine, but it's homogenized. We're not looking for we're not looking for homogenation here. It's such a word. We're not looking to homogenize. We want difference, diversity. Yeah, it's richer that way. So take care of yourself. You'll have to decide if you want to listen to Dr. Bird or me.
Wow.
I think the flu shot has a place and a purpose. My daughter, I was on the phone with her this morning. She's a virologist. She works for a pharmaceutical company, by the way. Was telling me about a drug that they have. This company, I can't tell you who. They saved 4 babies last week with this drug, with this terrible genetic mutation. Come back. I'll tell you a little bit more about that and why that connects here. Welcome back. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Last week I was talking about the randomness of life, the randomness of existence. It drove Einstein crazy, by the way, the notion of randomness. If you get into his work and you understand what I won't get into weeds on that, but nevertheless. And we're born, that's totally out of our control, the circumstances into which we're born, the genes that we inherit. And it's just chance. It's chance. It's random, right? And then we try to make the best of it. And then we go through life and we find out there's a lot of ambiguity, there's a lot of unevenness. But the body, interestingly, is always seeking to move towards equilibrium, and so is the planet. And it just there seems to be competing physical laws. Second law of thermodynamics that supports normal muscle movement. It's all about the proteins and control of the limbs, the abdomen, the head and neck, the chest, and breathing muscles. So you can just imagine if that gene gets mutated, the consequences. Well, infants come into this world with it. Not often, but it happens, where each parent is carrying one copy of the mutated SMA gene. The odds of that happening are, again, chance, so remote. In MSA, the child who is affected by MSA inherits two copies of a mutated gene, one from each parent. It's a motor neuron disease. And the neurons, of course, are nerve cells, in a word. So it's a death sentence for the child when the child is born. Very few make it. Hardly, this particular pharmaceutical company has come up with a drug that addresses that mutation. And my daughter told me she's intimately aware and knows what's going on here with the principles. And she said they saved 4 lives last week. There were 5 that were given the drug. 4 lived, 1 did not make it. So I hear people say, pharmaceutical companies are this and they're that. They're doing this and they're doing that. They're the handmaiden of the devil. And, we need to think those things through a little bit. And you don't want to, just burn down the building because there are a couple that need to be renovated. Right? You try to get the best of what you got. And she said it was when she was told about this, she was at a dinner with somebody, and it was revealed to her, and she got upset that they lost one of the infants. So there's a lot of good that goes on too with drugs. They say they did some experiments, lab experiments with animals, and they had some good results. Now they think that's going to extrapolate. Believe you me, tens of billions, if not hundreds of tens of billions of dollars are lost in clinical trials for drugs that didn't make it. Okay? So, came out last week. Gary can find that story where I got really upset me because there are people out there hoping and praying for something who have been diagnosed with cancer. And this guy comes out and says, we found a cure for cancer. That's when I go berserk and I lose. That's the human part of me. I'm not supposed to do that, but I couldn't help it. So I just wanted to share that with you. In other words, let's keep an open mind. Dr. Bird does that. She's been doing this a long time, this business of trying to help people. She is in the natural product space, part of her work. And, she's into natural approaches to health and healing. And we'll talk with her. We'll see what's on her mind. You need to show your mother, these videos. You can show these videos to your mom, So I'm just saying, Dr. Bird.
Okay.
We come back. We'll talk with Dr. Bird. We'll see where she's been. She's always on the move. I still think she's in the witness protection program.